Hold tight.
Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libos. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
Just what the flipping Nora are you all lot doing?
I'm still in there. I'm still right behind him.
It was just a very well thought out tactical plan by Danny.
I want to go!
I can literally feel the steam coming out your ears.
So it's like a fun little post-game snack.
The Wednesday Week! Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week, fresh on our trip to the other capital that we're near to. We're not near anywhere of it. We are live. It's gripped, it's sorted. Don't forget to get involved in the comments tonight. Joining me, I've got Simon, I've got Holly, who's a little daffodil right now, and I've got Charlie, and I'm Jimmy Fly Snooker. Stone Cold's how I'm hitting them. How's everybody getting on? Simon, how was your weekend? All right, yeah?
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. Holly, can you just turn it round or just face the other way to the camera so I can show everybody my view of the match on Saturday?
I tried to save you. I tried to save you by blocking your view of the match.
The back of Holly's head is what I saw on Saturday, and I appreciated it. And we'll discuss the rest later.
Yeah, Chaz, you missed some top hat buying. As you can see, Holly is modelling the daffodil hat that Holly and I decided all Welsh people wore. So we decided we were going to get a couple of these hats and fit right in. And it turns out they were selling them on the streets, not for the football, but for the women's rugby game that was on that day. And Holly screamed at a lady, didn't you?
No, that's not strictly what happened. So anyone that is on an audio medium, it's one of those hats where your face is the middle of a flower. You know the type.
On every corner.
That's standard thing.
So I got to the pub very early, and through the window of the pub you could see a stand with tat on it, and I love tat, and it's all I could think about. So we decided, I mean, like true Yorkshire people, that we were only going to pay a certain price. And this woman did not want to haggle at all. She said, nah, I'll sell them. She didn't sell any. We watched. She sold 0. Anyway, that put a dampener on it, so I came back into the pub and ordered a lot of shots. But then you arrived, Fudge, and you saw the tat, and you had the same reaction as me.
I was hypnotized. People were talking to me, and I couldn't concentrate on what was happening. They had bucket hats. They had pink bucket hats. They had hats. You could it'd be a dragon. What else did they have? There was another one. Sheep. They had a sheep hat. Somebody came on in a sheep later on. But what happened was she was selling them, Simon, for 12.5 quid a pop. And Ollie's not paying that. She's not having it. But because she's got a prime location outside the Spoons, she could afford that premium. We went literally round the corner and bought 2 for £8 each. So jot that down in your face, lady that looked like she looked like that throat singing woman from the Simpsons movie. Go on, sir.
and I couldn't believe how disappointed you both were that nobody else was wearing them
in
the entire stadium.
Not one person.
I was convinced that everybody would have them on.
Yeah.
Especially because my reaction to it was exactly the same as Fudge's, and I felt that because there was 2 of us, it justified it. You validated my feelings on it. And
So in a stadium of 24,000, there was 2 people wearing them, and they were stood in front of me during the game. Just my luck.
Drinking blue drink. Chaz, how was your weekend? All right, before we bore you about ours.
Yeah, it was all right. It's isn't it great to have football back? Wasn't that? It just makes you a bit nostalgic, doesn't it, for the old international break?
So, as I said at the start, Sheffield Wednesday have tore once again into a 1-1 draw where they played shit the first half. There's not a lot to talk about, so we will be talking about Pop World and Daffodil Hats a little bit more later on in the show. So,
before we go into the game, right? So I wasn't going to go to this game at all. I had convinced myself I weren't bothered about it. And then on about Wednesday, somebody said, last call for Cardiff away. And it reminded me that I went to Cardiff years and years ago, and Peter Cousins, Cockney Pete, was stood at side of us, and Wednesday scored, and he was that surprised by either how good of a goal it was or that we'd scored, that his contact lenses flew out of his eyes. and on Wednesday, when someone said last call for Cardiff away, that's all I could think about. And I thought, we're going to have another contact lens flying, eye-popping goal, and I can't miss it.
Like some kind of cartoon, like they got bigger as they came out.
Have you ever seen anyone so surprised that the contact lenses fly out of their eyes?
Just spontaneously leap off of someone's eyeballs. I don't think I've seen it.
I'm looking, but then to be fair, having watched this game, I wish that I needed contact lenses and that they had flown out of my eyes so I could watch it. But that honestly is all I could think about after someone said last call for Cardiff. So I booked it and I went. So thanks, Pete, and your fabulous eyes.
So listen, I've lost Simon. I don't know where he's gone, so it's just going to be us three for a bit. He's popping back. He's coming back. Charlie, while I get Simon back in the room, tell us about your thoughts before this game. Tell us about how you thought it was going to go and how you thought it was going to roll out.
I think sort of on paper, if it wasn't sort of at this point in the season, I'd be like, yeah, this, our away form's been good. They're in a not brilliant position. Like, really, we should be able to go down there and have a good game. But because it's like game one of this, like, run of cup finals we've got and all this kind of stuff, I was then like, I feel like that's jinxy. So I was a bit like, do you know what I mean? Like it's all been like all the way through international break when there's no football happening. You can say, well, when we get back, first game back, we've got however many games left to play. We've got this many points. And so I think all that built up, and I was like, I think we could get humiliated. Like, I think it's that big push vibe where you're like, if we can simply get the points we need against teams a lot lower than us, and that's exactly when you trip up. So I was a bit trepid.
Hang on, I might need to make a note of that. Score points against teams not as good as us. It seems simple, but I'll make a note. It seems
simple, and that's why it's so scary. Easiest
every
things.
Single time a Wednesday fan mentions the word playoffs,
that
will absolutely shit his pants twice.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. It's awful. Simon, I'm going to go into the lineup. I've got it ready here on screen. We've got Pierce, Charles, Valentin, Iorfa, Ihekwe, Hatsuta, Shalaba. That is a mouthful to read, that first six players there. Bannon, Patterson, Gassama, Windass and Lowe. A couple of surprises in there, isn't there?
Yeah, it was funny because we were coming in on the bus while you lot were daffodil hunting. Yeah, we were coming out and several.
When in Wales, do as the Welsh do.
Yeah, obviously. Couldn't find the sheep. Went to a Spoons, and everybody got loaded on peanut butter whiskies, as they do. And so when it was going out, oh yeah, Charles is in the team. Yeah, and we're like, oh yeah, Charles is in the team. Well, obviously Charles is in the team. Oh, it's Charles. And then eventually you go, Beale's not in the team. All right, well, who's playing this? Because nobody went on the bus. Oh, yeah, Charles, as in Pierce Charles. Everybody just went, it's going to be Shea, isn't it? Shea's in the team. So then, Beale's not playing. What is he playing in goal then? So that was the first shock.
That came out differently for us because somebody had seen Joe Cran sent out a teaser, didn't he? Saying the shirts were in the wrong order. And everybody was like, ooh. And then everybody, I'm sure Joe's not watching this. I'm sure he watches more highbrow content. But then we all said that he was just trying to wind us up.
You see, I
didn't favourable.
I didn't see that. I hadn't got my South African X on. So
you're not getting contacts in. Are you shocked?
Well, that's why I disappeared a minute ago. It literally shocked me into my contacts flying out and turned my internet off. So,
but it's a tough one, right? It's a weird one. I mean, why do you think that is? I mean, you had some thoughts about his performance midweek, Simon, right?
Yeah, I'm not in the I don't like Beadle, but I'm not in the I love Beadle. I think he has pulled off some great saves in the past, but I know Holly and I have chatted about this endlessly on our WhatsApp group. I'm not sold on the keeper who can't catch it, who has to palm it out, and I think a lot of the times that's ended up in the Paul Valentin not defending area, as Steve made out, obviously after the United game. And then I watched his goals for the England under-21 against France, and he didn't cover himself in a lot of glory in all of the goals. And some of them were very, all of the goals, and some of them were very similar to what he's conceded for us in the past.
I tell you what, you were talking about the people talking about it online. Chaz, this will be a phrase you'll be familiar with. Matt Strickland's been on and said, Wednesday Dours win.
I know, and I think that's me. I think I was a bit of a Wednesday Dour, but I'm with Simon though. I think like I'm certainly not like Beadle is shit, and if I'd have seen his name on this, you know, the team sheet, I'd have been like, oh, what the hell. But I wasn't also convinced by this idea that he's God's gift to footballing. Not like he's young, he's got a lot of potential, but I think something's happened. Like I do think his confidence has been knocked. Like, and I think that was even clear at the international level. Like a lot of people watching it were like, this does not look like the same keeper we saw, like who basically kept us in the championship last season. And if I have contributed in any way to that negativity, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, it was you that started it.
I worry. I don't feel like anyone was saying it till I was.
Yeah. Yep, you started it, Chaz. You got keeperitis.
Ruined
it.
I do honestly think that Danny hasn't dropped Beadle, and I think there must just be a reason that he weren't quite fit enough, or if some. I just don't think that he would drop him, because for a keeper, he would have to be really, really like unsavable, unrescuable to drop him, because if to drop him for him being bad. For him to, because it means that they can't come back in, doesn't it? It means that
look at Melier at Leeds. He's still hanging in there. How is he getting a pair of gloves on?
Unbelievable. If they don't go up, it will be entirely his fault. Like
you would have made
crazy.
a clip about that.
He will be the player that the Leeds fans will use as an excuse of him, including the manager. Oh yeah, it was the keeper's fault. Yeah.
But really, it's just the football voodoo that Leeds have when it gets to Easter.
Yeah,
it literally is. The Leeds crumble does come out the oven round about Easter time, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about Sheffield Wednesday. Simon, Holly, sorry, it's your turn, isn't it? We got into this game. It were rubbish. I don't think I've got any positives from the first half. Cardiff started stronger. We couldn't string together, but I thought the inclusion of Patterson would include a little bit of shithousing, a little bit of elbowing, and then they kind of just scored. I was still in a euphoria of hat wearing at the time.
The shots were slowly wearing off as we realised that we've come all this way for that. I honestly think that first half, and bear in mind that we've had that first half at Sunderland, right? Mm-hmm. I honestly think that is one of the worst halves of football. It was just awful. Just truly, truly awful to watch. And that is the kind of half that you can only have when you've travelled to a different country. That is never down the road first half. That is it. That is just, you've travelled there. You are slowly sobering up, realising that it weren't worth it. All of your life choices before that have been bad. It was just awful. And I think the daffodil hat wearing just made it worse.
I've got this image of you two. You know that god awful image of Ozzy and Barney from, I think it's the Derby, where they're like sadly sat. Like I've got this image of you with like the daffodils, just like what?
Two very deflated daffodils.
It was that picture of that guy dressed as an owl that time when he's walking.
Yeah.
It was just awful. I'm trying to think of any positives that we had from that first half.
Well, let me tell you some of the bits. So they started better than us first 10 minutes. Then Isaac Davies opened the scoring after 21 minutes. And then Saleh missed a header that put it right at Piers Charles, who spilled it to him for another pop. And then he ballooned that over the top. And then it was half time. When it's I don't know. I don't remember the last 15 minutes of the first half.
It sort of ebbed between you two wearing your daffodil hats in different sorts of ways, because I could see you slowly sobering up, the pair of you. And it was like, oh, it's right, guys, great idea wearing this. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Oh, this is really starting to piss me off now, but I've still got to wear it because I spent £8 and I'm from Yorkshire. And then it was like, and then you wore it like a halo. And then and you wore it properly. And then
I had it as a do-rag at one point. It looked great.
I think you gave it to somebody else, Hull, and then you quickly reclaimed it back. And in between that, I actually think that we were all surprised about the team selection. And I think most of the people who played in that first half were surprised about the team selection as well. I think Chalabar went, what the fucking hell am I doing? Why am I playing? Pierce Charles was just like, right, fair enough. I mean, I tried to use the logic of he hasn't played Beadle and he hasn't played Shea Charles because they played midweek, but so did Pierce. So that logic has gone out the window. It just looked disjointed. It looked leggy, and that was just you two stood in front of us, really. As for the game, and me and you just going, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Sometimes maybe good.
We did that for 45 minutes.
Do you know Ingleson had that amazing first game and then went shit? I feel like Chalabar does that on a 20-minute basis. He's in and out. Oh no, I'm absolutely the worst player I've ever seen. Oh no, I'm all right again now. Now I'm shit again. I can't keep up with it. I don't know what's going on.
You looked like you were playing for Cardiff in that first half at some times. I was like, that's a great ball to them.
Yeah, they're playing for survival as well, right? You know what I mean? They're going to come at us, and I found it weird that that they fell away towards the last 20 minutes. But Ashley Green's been on talking about your point, Chaz. Beadle probably won us more points than his losses, but look at a higher level. He's alone. Charles is ours. Play Charles for the rest of the season. See how he does. I think we've discussed it. I think we discussed that ad nauseum, and we did a Q&A last week, folks, and we talked about why is Chalobah not had a run in the team? Why don't we just get Pierce Charles in? And Pato deserves a run out because of his form. And all of those things happen. So, Danny, thanks a lot for watching. Really appreciate your.
What we know, eh?
And we're sorry.
And please don't watch it again.
Never watch it again.
Why do we never get that? That when a player returns to a club they used to play for and plays really well, that never happens. Pato's never had a good game against Cardiff, and we got. I mean, I wouldn't have played Unbone.
Right, and then half time comes around, Simon, and then what was it? Johnson, Ingleson, and Shea Charles came on. For Hatsusa, who got done for the goal, didn't he? He just didn't get right enough.
Chalobah
and Pato came off later on, didn't he? But odd one. Not odd one. Danny's gone, well, that didn't work. Let's get the old guard out, right? There was an element of that. Or was the shitty first half part of Danny's game plan? We've spoke about it a number of times on this programme about the first half being pretty trash and then us overcoming a 1-0 deficit to win 1-1.
The drama of it all. It loves the drama.
It loves the
drama. Just loves the drama.
It's like the craziest guy at the bar is the guy that smashes the glass on his own head first. It's that like nothing's more intimidating than being like, we'll concede a goal. We're not even bothered. We'll make this hard for ourselves. Like that's what we're doing. It's all just intimidation tactics.
He's crazy eyes out of all the Adam Sandler films, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just commenting in the background, and then eventually chooses his correct lineup that he should have chosen from the start. You go to Cardiff all that way, knowing you need 3 points, playing a team who haven't won at home since forever, and you play a team that really isn't your strongest team to start off with. I don't know what his decision was, but he put the strongest team in the second half, and it showed straight away, didn't he? And he moved. Yeah. Windass was playing out on the wing as well in the first half, which I think we can all say that Windass's position isn't out on the wing, is it?
Well, he's had his 5 good games this year. That's him done now, isn't it? Oh, controversial hot take. Controversial hot take from Dan Fudge. That's not like him on the internet to start controversially saying some things. Hang on, let me press it.
The Rumour Mill.
Sorry, Simon, you were saying.
Yeah, I just wondered what the rumour was. Oh, the rumour is he's had his 5
He's had his only good 5 games of the season.
That's the rumour.
Yeah.
That's a rumour.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that first, so I feel like we've got a bit of benchitis going on here because Sai just said that was our best team in the second half, and it's not Sai that's been saying it. It's literally everyone except me has been saying that we need to not play Marv anymore. Rio.
You lot was slagging him off. Here we go. Are you ready? It's a classic Holly hot take.
I just want you all to know that I truly, truly want Rio to be a good player. Yeah. And I am not biased against him because of the Marv thing. But he was the opposite man of the match. He was
negative man of the match.
He was absolutely plop. He was top.
You're becoming like Stevie here, who hates everybody who plays in Palmer's position.
No.
Doesn't matter how good they are. You're now doing the same.
I want him to be good, but he's either he's so far out of position, he's not even on the highlights. He's gone. He's just gone. Or he's actually there, but for what reason? Why is he no? That is one of the worst halves of football for an individual. And then Marv came on, and how much everybody hates Marv. Then everybody were cheering him, which is obviously that's prime Marv when everybody's slagging someone else off. Comes in to be a hero.
That's true, actually.
He did actually have a good game.
He didn't put a crap cross in all game because it was like, they all hate that boy. I mean,
it's just here for vibes. It's just here for vibes. Jay Boggs has been on, says Danny struggles to get it right in the first half far too often. I concur. There's been too many times where we've gone 1-0 down in the first half, and I don't like it. And then John's been on, and he's gone, that first half reminded me of when you tried to sneak into the nightclub with trainers on. You know it's not going to work, and you have to leg it home and put some brogues on. Now, Chaz, that's the thing that used to happen back in the olden days, where you had to wear shoes when you went out. And you had to wear, for some reason, a Ralph Lauren shirt that you got from a man called Icky at Skegness Market. And on the outside of this shirt was the washing instructions. Didn't know why that was a thing. Simon, can you shed some light on that, Paul?
Absolutely none at all. And if you bought it from Skeggy Market, he wasn't riding a horse. It was a camel or a donkey. And it was Ranulph Lauren. Yeah.
Thanks, Icky. And then Jay Blogs doubled down with Marv needs to go. Marv needs to go, H. Has loads more games, this poor. Only played well this season off the bench overall.
To be fair, who we're going to play there then? Nobdy.
Alan Nobdy.
Rio is not the answer. Rio is not the answer. And I don't disagree with people because I do think that Marv probably has played more bad games than he has good. He usually plays better when Bannon and Windass are there, his bros. He plays all right. So I don't disagree that we need to replace him, but Rio is not it. And maybe the reason we start games crap is because the kind of stuff that Danny's trying to tell them to do is not the kind of stuff that they are computing or whatever. It don't make sense to them. And then as longer the game goes on, Danny just goes, oh, fine, tell them something that they do know. And then they go, oh, you.
Oh, thank God. Here comes Johnson with a big, long cross into the box.
Where are we going with that then? But
I've got a little bit of a theory. Hear me out. Oh, right. Okay. The constant in the midfield from the first half to the second half was Barry Bannon. Am I right? And a few matches ago, we missed a game and there was rumour going around he'd broken his foot and this, that, and the other. And I think what we heard was that he's got a reoccurrence of that knee injury that he got when we played Sunderland in the playoff semis. And he wasn't great, was he? And if you watch the way he plays at the moment, because I think the start of the season was probably the best season we've had out of him for a few years this year. Mm-hmm. But he seems to be disappearing in the game. We're not getting those terrier-like runs that we get closing players down and stuff. And he's been using Shea Charles and Ingleson as his legs because he can't cover the pitch like he used to. So in the first half, what I tend to see was when he got the ball, because he can't bring the ball out of midfield, he's playing deep. He's going down the Hollywood balls, which is great if you've got Hollywood footballers up front, but we hadn't. And what we saw in the second half was that Shea and Ingleson were the players who were doing the runs for him, doing the athletic bits for him.
Yeah.
I think that's where we have struggled over the last few games is because Barry Bannon isn't 100% fit.
What do you reckon, Chaz? That was some Michael Smith slander.
I hate it. I'm joking. I think Bannon always plays best when he's got people that can play can pitch where he's pitching. I think that's been the massive thing with Shea Charles is that he has complemented Bannon. Bannon's at his worst when he feels like everyone around him is an absolute donkey. Yes. And a lot of the time he's right. You can see his frustration. For example, just before their goal, somehow Bannon was almost closer to trying to possibly sort out that problem than Rio was. And you're you shouldn't have to be, it shouldn't have gone in. Someone should have been marking their man. but it's the fact that he feels like he has to go and like put out everybody's fires and mop up everyone's shit, and that's when he's at his worst because he's not then thinking about doing his job. And I think in the second half, what you immediately noticed was he's more settled because he feels like he's got people there that he can rely on. The biggest issue with that is if we don't have depth in that midfield to support Bannon, what the hell happens when we don't have Bannon? And him being unfit for just those couple of games alone, it was like, oh my God, like you don't even realize how much he runs it. But I think nowadays he's more of like a cog in a machine rather than just the whole machine itself. And I think that's probably fair enough at his ripe old age. But yeah,
Chaz, let me just
scary.
Interject there. Danny's gone with bang on. People
Bang
are agreeing with you on the internet. Bang on. Matt Strickland's gone with you, right, Simon? Go on, H.
God.
Did anyone say I were right? Nah, it's all right. I don't need it. I don't need it.
They love the hat. They love the hat.
Let me just scroll here. We've got Adam Bishop's gone. I thought Olaf, picture of a snowman there, would have got a good run out up to his injury. Was starting to look decent.
I always forget about him.
Well, on Charlie's point, there was a point in the game where Cardiff came down their left-hand side, went past Valentin, who dove in, then Dom dove in again, and the person that blocked it were Bannon. But who we play that to? Even if we win the ball back, it's coming back at us because they're just kicking it at random. Because Bannon should be receiving the ball out from there.
Yeah.
So why is Bannon blocking a ball on the front? Why is he there? Why are
Charlie's spot on. I think when he doesn't trust the players around him, all of a sudden he loses his head. But I did find a comment that agreed with you, H. I did find one. J Blog's been on. I agree with about Rio. Isn't the replacement right now? But Gas was Gash, not an alias. In the first 20 games plus, and he all of a sudden's turned into a player. Him and Masaba seem to have switched in form, don't they? Because he's gone to absolute piss.
And it might be like what I was saying, that they're not quite understanding in time what Danny's asking. And Rio in pre-season, when he's got time to fuck up and it not matter.
Absolutely.
And maybe grow a foot. That'd be all right.
Oh.
It's what?
He's only wee. If he just grew a foot taller as well.
Yeah, and then became better at football.
Yeah. I mean, if we're wishing for shit.
There's probably a getting used to English football thing as well. I mean, some of our players have never learned how to play English football. They've only ever played in England, so I don't know why it should happen to him, but you never know.
Right. So I tell you what, let's talk more after the adverts, ladies and gents. Stay with us.
Brace yourself. Some people are gonna try and sell you some things.
Wow.
Welcome back. I just thought I'd put a little marker in there. It helps me edit it. That country stylings there. What do you reckon? I was all right with it. That took all of 4 minutes this afternoon to make that.
I was about to get line dancing.
Judging by how easily you bought that tat in Cardiff, you would buy any of the. And I say that as someone wearing this West.
Yeah, tell us about the t-shirt, H. Tell us about the t-shirt.
I have to admit, the only people that I know that have got these shirts are women, so I don't know what marketing ploy they had there. But did anybody see the non-league team that's game got called off on the day because of the goose shit all over the pitch?
There's goose shit, specifically geese shit.
It was apparently
geese.
There were so many geese pooing all over. They had to abandon the game, and to recoup the costs of that, they were selling these shirts that said, "I helped save a non-league football club from geese," and you got a chance to win some Grey Goose vodka too. But
that t-shirt slogan there makes it sound like some geese youths had turned up all with a shank each. You know what I mean? And a Stone Island on. The geese firm are coming in, fucking do it down here, you mug. You know what I mean? I'll fucking sort you right out. Honk my arse, smoke with you. You know, like, because that's how they talk.
Because it was Wednesday that were honking.
Hey, Buntis.
Right then, let's get back into some normality here. Right, so Blair's been on. Blair's gone with, in years to come, no one's going to remember finishing 10th, even with how impressive that is. The way players played in that first half was like this season all over. Absolute horse piss. There's a hot take from Hard Ankles there. We've had another Bob on Charlie. We've had we don't suit 4 at the back with our current available squad, but we don't have depth for 5 at the back. I think that there's been at least 4 or 5 managers who have tried to get away from 5 at the back, and we always end up going back to it. And the only consistent in that has been Barry Bannon, and I feel like it's so somebody cleverer than me will be able to pick that apart and work out why we play better when Bannon's got wing backs to the right and left of him. But then Matt Strickland's been on and said we're 1 injury away from 3 at the back. Hopefully Fan doesn't break down. Took me a while to work out he was talking about for Maywell. I just thought he was just talking in general South London vernacular.
Wednesday family.
Yeah, just like Fan don't break down.
I already had a breakdown if it's talking about
Gary's been on, Simon. You can shed some light on this for me. Last couple of games, Gasman's been shy. I mean, it's not exactly. It's a statement more than a question, which I kind of enjoy, but I don't disagree.
No, I think the lad's knackered. Lad's knackered.
I think they all are.
I think we've put a lot. He's played so well up to the, including the Norwich game, obviously, and then I wanted to see him perform against United, and he didn't. He sort of disappeared into himself, and it was the same. But are they sort of sussing him out? Because every time he got the ball, there was 2 players on him. You know, they stop him doing that turning inside out, and maybe it's time to give him a rest.
Who are you going to bring on instead, though?
The
man in a Canadian Goose jacket
and
vodka. I don't know.
That's literally what Strickland says. So the all Canadian Goose jackets on, which I really enjoy. But who are you going to bring on? Player that's got mentioned, not particularly the same player, but still an attacking player. What about McNeil? Another player that's not got any game time. Somebody who I thought scored a couple of good goals against Hull, and then we haven't really seen him since, apart from a couple of cameos at the end of the game.
I tell you, we didn't talk about in the first half with Jamal Lowe, because Jamal Lowe stank the place out. But from my when we signed him, I always thought he wasn't an out-and-out striker. He was a lad who plays on the left or the right and comes in, sort of supports the strikers. So are we
He's Wilkes too.
He is Wilkes too. He tricked us with that first game. Mind you, a lot of them did. The sun tricked us, the weather. It all got to our heads. It was all crazy. But like, I made a TikTok edit of Jamal Lowe to fucking a J-Lo song. I thought he was the absolute bomb. I was like, what a baller. And then I forgot he played on Saturday. That's how shitty.
I can't take it seriously.
3 days.
Sorry,
3 days making. I spent 3 days making an announcement video for exactly the same thing, just to get a load of clips of him. So when it goes apple bottom jeans, booked it for low, and I got a load of commentators to say the word low. 3 days that took me for what? 1 good game at the start of the season. Sorry, Simon.
2 goals. 3
it's his socks. Can't take his socks seriously. Yeah. As an old man, as a Wednesday Dour, I can't take his socks seriously. Cannot. Pull your fucking socks up, man. Sorry, drop the F-bomb. But just really, shouting at cloud.
I want to get you a little pipe, and every time you say something Wendy Dour like, you'll be like, I'm not having them socks. I didn't use my warmer up cock back in there.
You stupid little chimpanzee. Deserve to have your legs broke.
Brock. Brilliant. Right, Holly. We scored from a corner. Direct from a set piece. We scored from a corner. Now, for 30-odd years, I've been stood on the cop, and every time we get a corner, the crowd get up, everybody gets excited, and we all clap. 30 years, and I think that's probably one of the very few that I've seen over that period of time.
It's testament to how crap we are at corners that my Charlie messaged me to say, who took the corner? Because that is my rant every single week. When I'm the Wednesday Dour. I come home and moan about corners every week. We're on the Wednesday Dour bingo today. I'd like to say that I remember it with perfect clarity, but I do not. But do you know what? I was trying to find some words to describe it.
I tell you what, Holly, I think he took it really well. That is a decent amount of yards away from the goal, and to head a ball that quick with that much power at that point, going away from the ball as well, like he's kind of backing away, isn't he, and gives it the beans. I thought that was a great header.
Head the ball about 300 times per match, though. So
he's well good.
Yeah.
He made the team of the week as well, ladies and gents. Actually made the team of the week. So well done, Ick well done. And
I've
then,
actually written in my notes about Hekwe, from the
Go on.
shoulders up is mint. Like from the shoulders up, he's a mint footballer. Like, don't worry about the rest of it. This Ballon d'Or for the head, like alone. Like if that's a thing, you should be getting that. That's crazy.
Alan dead.
Ballon dead.
let me write down that you've just said live on the internet, Ballon d'Or for the head. I'm gonna hang on. Excuse me for a second.
Dad banter alert. Dad banter alert.
Get me out. Play me out, Johnny. Cling, 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 cling. Right then, let's move on. It was nice to see Akin Famewo, Simon, take the pitch. So we had Famewo come on last 10 minutes for Big Dom, who had a scatter game, didn't he, H?
He is similar in some ways to Hekwe in that from the neck down is shit. It's just that also from the neck up he's also shit.
That's not what you're saying about his physical appearance on the day.
No, he's a beautiful man. He's beautiful. I just wish he was good at football, but he isn't. and I honestly, my main rant of League One was about how shit he is, and I honestly thought that in the Championship he's usually better, but that has not come to be true.
It's not come to pass. Now, for Famewo, Simon, getting on for the last 10, encouraging, right? Didn't really put a foot wrong.
Without a doubt, yeah. He was our standout player up until getting injured at the start of the season. And he does, because obviously we've lost Max Lowe, haven't we, for the rest of the season? So he's out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. So it does give you some hope, because I am in the same camp as H when it comes to Dom Iorful. He has a song.
Do I need to press the dad banter button on that one?
Dad banter can be brought in, but he has not one mistake in him. He has about 40, and you're not quite sure which one you're going to get.
The song says never gives the ball away.
Yeah, it is.
He literally that's all he does.
Always
gives the ball away. That's all he does.
But also we have songs that talk about a wee Scottish man who's better than Zidane, and I think we might disagree with that one. Yeah.
That is true. Based on your point there, Holly, that he's good from the head up. John's gone with he should be a newsreader. And then Jay Bloggs has said, like an octopus, massive head and legs just all over. Which I can actually just visualize. Make sure you get a comment soon. So not really much else to talk about in terms of that game. Charlie, did you expect more? Did you walk away thinking that was 2 points dropped, or do we lucky to pull one out? What I can do is get you some visual aids in terms of some statistics. Yes,
I require statistics to make my expert analysis. Yeah. You look at that and you go, yeah. Jesus, they had so many corners. My God almighty, they had a lot of corners. We had one corner and scored from one corner. Yes. Champions. I think because we came from a goal down, for me, it did feel like a point gained, even if it was a very frustrating shit match. Like, undeniably, I was like, okay, at least we didn't lose. But I think it was end-to-end stuff towards the end. And I think there was a couple of hairy moments when I thought, we're going to steal this. No. Oh, God, they're going to steal this. So I think by the end of the 90 whatever minutes it ended up being in the end, what was it, 4 minutes at the end, something like that, 94 minutes, I was like, okay, that's done. Like, I think it probably ended up being fair. In the first half, I think we could have been 3-0 down at least. So in many ways, if you would have said in the first half you're going to get away with 1-1 here, I'd be like, I'll take that now and I'll just go home, thanks. So yeah, the
interesting thing about those statistics is we've done them on possession by, if we go back to Munoz years, the Munoz minutes, we were like 25%. They've actually beat us there. You know what I mean? The only thing we're winning on is goalkeeper saves, and one of them is spilt to him again. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we might have got away with them looking at them stats, but having been there and seen the game, a draw annoyingly is a fair result. Now, boys and girls,
stats are wrong though, isn't it? Because we've got more possession, but they had all them corners. So if they miss them, we get the ball back. So it's our possession anyway. So our possession just comes from them missing, us going, just have loads of shots. I'd had more shots than Wednesday by 12 o'clock. Never mind that. 9 shots in a day. Sort your sends out. I think that we did not deserve anything. I don't think we deserve.
That is annoyingly true. We did have more shots than they did.
I made a bit of an error on my order.
Yeah. I tell you what. Let's get into that after I announce this week's
Hot Topic.
Sorry, if you are driving in the car and listening to this, you haven't crashed a car and or gone over a large badger. This is this week's Hot Topic. Now, as Holly mentioned earlier on, as soon as we mentioned the P word, we all fall to bobbins. That's what happened. So what I want you to do in the comments while we talk about the next few items, while Holly tells us about how she can't use the Wetherspoons app, I want you to tell us and talk about, do we even bother with the playoffs? Is it something we bother? Do we take a virtual 10-point improvement on last season and use it to build? Or is Sheffield United's decent form this season and Leeds made us go, I want to be playing up with that lot? Get your question, get your comments in. I want to know, do you still wish upon a star when it comes to the playoffs? Holly, tell us about how you can't use the Wetherspoons app. You lot get involved in the comments.
No, what the problem was that I started the order and then I thought, no, it is before 12 o'clock. And then I went back on and it was still there. And then I changed my mind. I went, oh, no, I want that. Oh, I want that. And then it turned out I'd bought 6 shots of lots of types of shots that all came at the same time. And it was not even 12 o'clock. It weren't.
Honestly, my notes today, Chaz, read, Greg's tastes the same in a different country, and I could use my points, and that's nice, isn't it? That's verbatim. As J-Lo shot his bolt and just not worked out, Tequila Rosé gives you the acid burps. Max Lamont for the season, there's a sale on at Macron. That's what we've got. About acid reflux for 2 days because she can't use Tim Martin's app. Simon, let's talk about something normal. Talk to me about the playoffs. Give me an old a Wendy Dour version about the playoffs. Go on.
Until it's statistically over, they're still on, and we seem to be 3 or 5, no more, no less than 3 or 5 points out of the playoffs. And I think we'll finish each game and go, oh look, we're only 5 points outside the playoffs. Next game, 3 points outside the playoffs. And it will end with, right, we can't get in playoffs, and it'll be the Watford game. It'll go to the Watford game, and we'll sell out, and everybody will go down dressed as bananas and sunflowers and whatever,
Daffodils.
What happens in Watford? I don't know. Dress up as, what do you dress up as? What are Watford known as? I don't know. Hornets. Bees. You go down as bees, Moose. Hornets, whatever. And
Elton John.
And the hope that kills you. We're 3 points out. We got to win, and we don't end up in it. But it's something to aim for, isn't it? Let's just go for it. Just aim for it. Let's aim for it. We're not, and then we're going to draw Coventry, aren't we? In the playoffs.
Yes, that's exactly what's going to happen.
And then we'll lose to Coventry, and then just to spite us, they'll still make us play them in the final, just because it's Coventry.
I do think that luckily, even though we shit the bed, every other playoff hopeful shit the bed more than us. So we actually gained on the playoffs somehow.
That was honestly, H, it's weird you said that because I was doing some maths on it. We were 6 points off the playoffs before we kicked off. And then we finished the shittest game of football I've seen in a long time. And we're a point closer somehow.
And isn't that why it makes it even more annoying? You go all that way. You suffer for days afterwards due to alcohol poisoning. And we're still that close, but that far away.
I'm actually wearing right now some cream that is green that I put on my rosy red face to try and counteract the. Play me out, Holly, quick.
I'm so holding in my rant that says it's over. We've blown it, which is bubbling. But I just think the jeopardy of dropping out of the league did make this time last season. It made them want to win and want to fight for it, fighting for maybe a chance at something else, having to play more games when you're all knackered and shit. They're probably not that bothered if we get in the play. I just don't think the dream is alive for the players. And Danny keeps saying that it sort of is, but he's not going to have some kind of Darren Moore inspirational team come together and they're all going to rise up the league. I just don't think that's going to happen. There's so many other teams. And how many weeks in a row are we going to go to the games and go, well, that was shit? And then somehow we still think that translates to the playoffs. I just don't think I think it's look, I'm getting hyped up and it's bubbling, right? The dream is over.
Here we go, kids. Here we go, kids.
I just don't think it's going to happen. And you can play this back when we're in the playoff final. I don't care.
Click that. Stick that on your podcast. Come on. We haven't had one of them for 3 years.
I just don't see how they can inspire them to get into the playoffs because everyone keeps saying, yeah, but all the teams that we're playing next are the rubbish teams. Yeah, they're all the others from last year.
Yeah.
Have something to play for. We're the Bristol City Prestons of the world that really aren't going to do it, but the fans keep going, oh, but we could, but not really. It ain't going to happen.
I tell you what, Holly, if you'd have asked me a year ago, do I want to be one of the Bristol City or the Prestons of the world, I'd have snapped your bloody hand off. And it's definite progress.
That just reminded me during the Cardiff game when we were both sad. I said, you have to truly believe that we're going to score. Put your daffodil hat back on right now. And we put it on and we went, come on. And then we scored.
Yes, the reason we spoke about the daffodil hat so much is because they are magical. Charlie, you had the last say on Hot Topic. Go on, tell us how you feel about it. Simon's been magnanimous. Holly's put a daffodil hat on now, which clearly means we are getting in the playoffs.
I have said right from the beginning of the season is all I care about is not getting relegated. And when I said mid-season, I meant it. Every single time I feel a bit disappointed that we've maybe not took a bit more advantage of the league being as crap as it is, I look at Plymouth and I think, imagine having another season like that. They're definitely pretty much going to go down now. Imagine having another season like that. And I think while it's not all been great, there've actually been some really good, exciting games. I think the frustrating thing is that it is still technically within our grasp because it's easily going to be thought of as a missed opportunity. For me, I don't care if this is controversial. I couldn't give a rat's dick about getting in the playoffs. I do not give a monkeys. Really? The playoffs? The Premier League? Did you see Jamal Lowe? Are you kidding me? Not a single one of those players needs to be anywhere near the Premier League. And I mean that with genuine love and affection. We are exactly where we need to be. If you look at them across the city, they'll have a shit game and still scab a win. That's how you get promoted. That you're still kind of crap. When we went up under Moore, most of our games, it wasn't like we were always playing this incredible football. It's the consistency, and we don't have consistency. What do we win? Oh my God, we're finally back in the Premier League after all these years. Oh great, I can't wait to concede. I can't wait to not be the top goal scorers at our own ground like United were the other season. How depressing would that be? I don't want any of it. If we're ever going to go up, I want it to be with the kind of team that we could have gone up with back in the day. I want it to be a triumphant promotion where we might actually have a chance of maybe kicking around there for more than one season. Literally, what is the point? I'm sorry, it's over.
Simon, that's really. I thought you'd be the grumpy bollocks on that, Simon, and these two have absolutely bummed me out.
Look, we were dead and buried this time-ish that last season, and we all went, and we would all sort of fucking League One again. Here we go, and we stayed up. Come on, it's the hope that kills you. Come on, we'll get into the playoffs. All of a sudden, we'll go prime, total utter prime. Carlos, no dinks. Oh yeah, we'll do it. We'll go up. We'll go up.
We'll go up.
But I'm not giving up until someone says, right, that's it, done. Mathematics. The problem we've got is we've only got 3 home games left. 3 away games left, where allegedly our form's better. We come from behind. We've got the best, I think, in the league. We've performed a lot better. The trouble we've got is really shitty home form, and the home form will kill us. And then we'll start again next season and move on. But look at Derby. They were dead and buried. Look at Derby. They were dead and buried. And look at them now. They could stay up.
They're almost dead and buried.
Yeah, but they were us. They were us last season. We've got to agree with Charlie. Us going up now. When is the right time to go up now as a championship team? Unless we spaff millions and millions
Well,
on players.
I was going to say, Simon. Actually, you could do a plucky underdog story and get promoted like Nottingham Forest and spend a lowly 400 million quid and have people go, plucky underdogs are them tricky trees, aren't they? Well done, lad, digging deep. Let's see what the people outside are saying on this week's hot topic. We've got Matt Strickland. He said, not a chance of getting the P word, but it was a nice ride. I'm going to put that last bit on my headstone. Looks like we're all safe now. Job done from Jay Blogs. He's all right with it. He's all right. That's, we're higher up. That's okay. North Yorkshire size gone with playoffs. Hopefully Leeds and Burnley go up so I can't do with losing to them in the semis. That's fair. We need them to foxtrot Oscar. Craig Hayward, build, not good enough for playoffs. Too inconsistent, especially at home, but good things to build on. It's exactly what you were saying, Chaz. Matt Strickland, too many connotations, Simon, for us to get into the playoffs. And then Jay Blogs, 4 up front for the rest of the season. Big fan of that. R. John's been on and says, if we make the playoffs, it would be like that time a random fella lined up for the Man U Champions League. Everyone looking at him thinking, who's that? I'd have gone with the, that's a very old meme, that one there. I'd have gone with the clowning with the Marines, John. But, we all like it. Hergle McGurgle, go on.
Didn't Huddersfield get promoted with a minus goal difference when
they didn't score any of their own goals and got promoted? David Bagley can get in the bin for me. And then Hergle McGurl's gone with problem is that someone will pull away. We won't fluke it. We'll need at least a little form. I agree. And then there was a lot of chat about hats. Ash had to go on there and remind everybody, don't drink, kids. It's not big and not clever. Chef Cam actually said, got to go for it. We'll kick a centre for the team slip up, which is right. Ash again has doubled down with daffodil hats of the new Mr. Plough jumper. And then as Holly had her hat on, John went, that baby from Teletubbies has grown up quick. Which that's what we look like, H. You know what I mean? Yeah. We could have walked around Cardiff telling people that that's who we were, and no one would have known any better.
No.
Well, your face is probably still the baby's face anyway, isn't it? After you.
And Chef Cam's gone on with we'll not have a team with Prem quality players whilst Den Perry's in charge, which I really enjoyed. Okay. Lots of now we've got people talking about we go up if someone buys us, and you know what I mean. Everybody's gone right into a deep dive, and since 1867, news has been winding everybody up on the internet. It's an absolute lollercourse. And God, what was it today? There was the announcement of the McClure brothers, and he said, the character of Steve Bracknell being on Under the Cosh and doing this thing with Sheffield United to raise money for charity is brilliant. I don't know how we managed to turn that into a negative spin. That was kind of impressive, if I'm honest. And Izzy Nicholson said that's because we were dire in the playoffs, Ollie. So yeah,
that was still us. I tried to think of a positive, and it was still us being shit.
What's the thing in football? Oh yeah, Wednesday losing. That's what's always on my mind.
That's the thing.
In the comments to give me a rousing speech that convinced me, because I am, as we know, easily bought, and everybody just agreed that we're not going to get in the playoffs.
You just have to wear your daffodil hat for the remainder of the season. No ifs, no buts, no babies. You're wearing the hat.
I tell you what, if we win the next game, I'll be back on board. So,
yeah.
Hat,
back on board.
Trifle. That's what we need to see.
Trifle.
Trifle. I'm going to need a picture of you eating a trifle and a daffodil hat each. If
Absolutely.
I'm honest, that's going to be. I'm going to frame it, and it's going to be my new backdrop for next week.
Am I having a midlife crisis? Is this?
I think you are. I think
online.
I think you might need a lovely bit of therapy. Right then, listen, Holly, can you talk rather lovingly and in a many serious a way about the women's supporters group first football match campaign that they're doing that we're helping out with after I announced on the internet live that we'll give you some tickets, Beth, we'll sort some out. I noticed you and Blair are on the POS as well. Not like you to get on stuff like that, is it, H?
I know, and Charlie's been cut off there looking.
That's my arm.
Well, that's your arm, isn't it?
A big yellow arm.
Tell us about it, H. If you are watching this on the telly, there's a QR code there, and take a look. Tell us what's happening.
So, if you don't know what the women's supporters group have an away day network that arranges meetups, especially but not exclusively for people who haven't been to away games before, or that might need to know what the best or the safest local pubs or hotels are, how to get to the different places, which was very helpful for me because I'm rubbish and Cardiff is really far away. You can travel together with other people. If anyone saw, some Wednesday fans did start some issues on the train on the way home from Cardiff, but the away day network had recommended to not get the first train back from Cardiff and to leave it and go a bit later for that reason. We can ticket share, buy tickets together. There's safe people at games, so if you sat with people near people that are not quite the best, you can find somebody. Although I'm a safe person and I was dressed as a daffodil, so but they share the safety reporting information as well in case you wanted to report some information. But as part of that, if you've never been to a match, you can attend with the Women's Supporters Group. I believe that there is a bit of a little tour and you get to meet Beth, who is amazing, or one of the other Women's Supporters Group gals who will show you around, and you won't feel weird being at a game with lots of people you don't know. I would just have to check what the actual what you actually get as part of it, because my mind's gone completely blank because I just talked for a really long time.
Do you need help?
No.
So,
got it. No,
all right, go on.
No, go on.
Okay, so if you click that QR code or follow that link that's on that POS that I'll put back on the screen, you can fill in an online form. And if it's your first time going and you don't know how to go about it, the Women's Supporters Group have got you. Beth has it's partnered with EA Sports, and when Beth was on the show the other week, I said that we'd double the amount of tickets that was available. And so Beth, as part of us being together, has shown me a few of the responses we've had already, or they've had already, and they're wonderful, Simon. And the reason I'm telling you this is that there's a lot of things that, being a middle-aged white man, I just not considered at all. You just get taken to the football, right, and you don't even think about it.
No, I've met the Women's Supporters Group a few times now at away games, and they're just such a great set of people to talk to. And I can't imagine being somebody who's like, because like as a lad, your group of lads play football together, this, that, and the other, and growing up together, it's sort of like we should go to match. And then my dad dragged me to match and stuff like that. And sometimes, my mum used to go, but she went with my dad. My ex-wife used to go, but she went with me. These sort of things. But, you see loads of groups of lads, but do you see loads of groups of girls? And the groups of lads can be really intimidating. I mean, we've seen some videos this weekend of idiots on the train setting flares off and shit like that. And it doesn't come across as a safe space. And this is just amazing. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely superb. And I hope it gets more girls going to football and long may it continue, because I think it's brilliant. I think it's really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, such a welcoming group of people, and they're not all like me and Fudge wearing daffodil hats, drinking shots. So you don't feel like that is what it's like. But it's just so welcoming, and like I say, if you feel unsafe about going to matches, you can't possibly not feel safe stood with these people because they're just so lovely.
And they've got a hell of a taste for tequila rosé, and they will take some feedback on what their Bumble profile looks like from a bloke. So they're up for some advice as well. They can have the Tinder profile mansplained to them. That may or may not have happened this Saturday. Listen, as we've been talking about that, it's a wonderful cause, don't get me wrong, but Joe Cran in the last 5 minutes has just tweeted out that, I'll read it to you verbatim. A number of Sheffield Wednesday players have not been paid on time this month, an issue that is unfortunately not a new instance at Hillsborough. Dapon Chansiri is working hard to resolve this situation at the earliest possible opportunity. Take a look at Joe's X profile there to learn some more. I'm going to take a look in a minute. Have you had a quick scout, Simon?
Yeah.
There's actually a statement on the club website. So the club have actually put a statement out stating that Sheffield Wednesday can confirm a temporary issue with the payment of player salaries for the month of March. This has occurred as a result of significant sums of money owed to the chairman's businesses, which has in turn impacted on the club's immediate cash flow. The chairman is working hard to resolve this situation at the earliest possible opportunity. In the meantime, Thanks everyone for their patience and understanding.
Well, firstly, there will be zero patience and understanding. There will be literally not even 1 second's worth of patience or understanding. That is not happening.
No. And I tell
But
you,
it's
yeah.
not like, go on, Chaz.
I was going to say, I tell you what, I wouldn't do a lick of work if I'd not got paid. Work wouldn't get an hour out of me. They wouldn't get 10 minutes off of me if I not got paid. So if I were them, I would not be kicking a bloody. I would not be getting out of bed until I got my money. I'll tell you.
All right, let me.
That they earned it.
Let me.
Yeah, even without.
Let me try and add some balance to this, because have you ever seen like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where Dennis is on his rant and Frank will try and help him, and he goes, "Don't help me." You know what I mean? You make it worse when you help me. This is like Chancery. I feel like I've spent the last week trying to bring balance to the Chancery out conversation, to try and say, you're arguing about the wrong thing, you're saying the wrong thing, stop doing it. You know what I mean? Make sure you can play the right way. This has just made me look like a right arsehole. I've now got some tweets to delete. And a lot of videos on this show from the last week specifically talking about just this thing. However, I don't know the validity of this, because I'm literally going to read some comments verbatim. So we've got Nathan saying Chancery not playing players again. He was the one that told us on the thing. And then we've got effing Chancery. But then Jimmy 1867 has said Thai government put tougher restrictions on money leaving Thailand. Big trouble. Part of me hopes that's true.
they have just had an earthquake which has killed quite a few people. The country is probably in some sort of lockdown, sort of financial lockdown.
So that could be a mitigating factor.
And don't forget, it's not just the players. Let's also think about the staff, the cleaners, everybody who works there.
Those that probably can't afford to go without a paycheck.
Yes,
like I would, not that I'm saying anybody shouldn't get paid, but
exactly.
Okay. Let's before we lose our mind on the internet, let's do some maths on it. Is essentially what I'm saying. Now, listen. The last bit that we've got to talk about is the egg drop. Chaz, what's your least favourite egg?
You know what my least favourite egg is. Cream, disgusting egg. Unleash the goo.
You say a lot of good stuff on this, but that is wrong, I'm afraid.
You are incorrect. People wait all year for these things, and you're just slagging them off.
I've never heard so much about cream eggs since starting this podcast. I made one comment being like, "Oh, I don't like cream eggs," and people will send me them going, "Do you hate this?" Yeah, yeah, I hate them. Stop sending
I tell you what, Chaz,
everybody vote with your feet and get a cream egg. If you want to upset Charlie, bring us a cream egg.
Please
donate. I dare you to donate a cream egg to charity.
That's exactly where I was going to go with that. I hope you hear what I did there. We've got the Easter egg drop this weekend against Hull City, and the weekend after against Oxford United. Simon, do we have a gazebo? Because I don't know what the weather's going to be.
Weather's going to be nice. The weather's going to be all right on Saturday. We might have issues with eggs melting, but it's going to be a nice day.
So if you bring some cream eggs, then a reflective tinfoil, and there might be another box of 5 for a couple of quid from your local Sainos. Bring them in, collect the eggs with the Half of the Pack charity. I'm going to put the POS back up again just to make sure I've done it properly before Ash, the meta boss, the actual boss, shouts at me for it. And then there was something else. I've forgotten it, but it will come and hit me as I know that the credits are playing. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for bringing some joy in my life, and you've made this hangover significantly better. Thanks a lot to Charlie, Simon, and Holly and her massive hat, and I'll see you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m, it's the Wednesday Week. Bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday Week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there, podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday Week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your podcast.